This is the Millionaires Roundtable. I'm your host, Lynn Richardson. We are creating millionaires one family at a time, one day at a time, $1 at a time, one dime at a time. And that means you. This is the Millionaires Roundtable. I am your host, Lynn Richardson, and we are creating millionaires one family at a time, one day at a time, $1 at a time, and one dime at a time. And that means you. And I know when we're moving one dime at a time, that can seem really slow. And it may even seem like your dreams of becoming financially free are not possible. Well, let me tell you, they are, because I've been there and I've done it all. I've made every single financial mistake that could be made. I went to college. I had too many credit cards. I found myself falling into bouts of depression. I ignored my creditors. I ignored my bills. I filed bankruptcy. I did a Chapter 13 bankruptcy. I paid that off. I thought I was rebuilding and doing well. And then the Great Recession of 2008 came. I lost everything. I was on food stamps, had to rebuild from there. I learned that having a home-based business is one of the single most important things you can do in terms of your finances, because not only does it allow you to get your money back, it really positions you to look at every single dollar that you have. You see, some say money talks, but I say money walks away from you quietly, and you don't know where it went. It would be nice if a dollar said, I'm about to roll bounce up out of here, and when you come find me, I will not be there. But money does not talk. It actually walks, and I think it crawls very silently, and you don't know where it went. And a lot of times when we are thinking about our money and we're spending money on things we want, we say, well, it's just. There's no such thing as it's just, because it's just $2, it's just $10, it's just $100. It adds up. Go back through your bank statements from last year, the year before. Add up all the it's justs. I bet you wish you had those dollars. So I'm going to spend some time today just talking to you. I know you have so many questions, and I want to be able to get to as many answers as I can. So let's see. We've got some callers with some questions.
Hi, Dr. Lynn. My name is Derek. And do you have any advice about how I can get my wife to submit to a budget?
Woo! How can you get your wife to submit to a budget? Okay, fellas, I'm going to tell you right now, that's a hard one, okay? Interestingly enough, African American women are the single largest decision makers in our household, in the country, proportionately. I'm talking about America right now. African American women are making the financial decisions in our households more than 80% of the time, whether we are married or not, compared to less than 50%, I believe, for Caucasian women, somewhere around 30% for Hispanic women, and less than that for Asian women. Meaning we are influencing and sometimes even singularly making the financial decisions. That was the case for me, young, in my marriage, happy, and I made all the financial decisions, and they were terrible ones. And my husband let me. So if you're a guy, you're trying to figure out how to get your wife to submit to a budget, first, you're going to have to get a financial education. You're going to have to become equipped with knowledge, and you're going to have to become equipped with the tools and the resources to understand how to control your spending. The second thing that you're going to have to do after you get knowledge is you're going to have a dream. You're going to have something that you want to accomplish. How do you want to take care of your wife during retirement? What's the next purchase you want to make? For example, the next house, vacation home, investment property. You're going to have to put your dreams on paper. The third thing you're going to do is you're going to have to speak to your wife and sit her down and talk to her and show her, this is what I want for you. I want us to live in retirement debt-free. I want us to be able to travel. I want us to be able to enjoy being empty nesters or taking care of our grandchildren or whatever that lifestyle looks like for you. But you're going to have to show her exactly what it is you want to deliver. You're going to have to say, I want to buy a second home in the sunniest state in the country. I want to buy a vacation property in the islands. I want to be able to do these things for you. But in order for us to do them, we have to start working on the plan now. Take a look at what you're actually spending. And numbers don't lie. 1 + 1 = 2. If your stuff adds up to 10, it'll never ever get into 2. I believe when you show your wife the vision of what you want to create for her, when you show your wife the knowledge that it's going to take to get there, and when you ask her to get on board with you, eventually she will submit. Now, it might not be easy in the beginning, because I'm going to tell you something. Women, in many cases, we are very attached to the things that we have identified money allowing us to participate in. Let me repeat. We are emotionally attached to the things that we have identified that money allows us to participate in. That might be being the cheerleading mom. My kids were cheerleaders. They traveled all around the country. Whenever the other kids couldn't pay, I put in extra money. I was attached to that. I was a cheerleader in high school and college. Now my kids are cheerleaders. They're traveling, they're performing, they're on ESPN. I'm attached to that. So to tell me that we aren't going to be able to spend money on that, it's telling me that you're going to take away a part of my joy. You're going to take away a part of my happiness. That's what happens when you tell a woman not to spend money. Let's say you tell her to stop buying nice clothing, or to stop buying a new outfit for every church event, for every sorority meeting, for every whatever, all the things that we get attached to. If you go to church and you have Women's Day and Mother's Day and Easter Sunday and Sister so-and-so's birthday and Mother so-and-so's, you can't wear the same dress to all of those events, or so we think. So you have to understand that a woman is going to be attached to those things. What about that kid that's in college that she's spending money on? You probably think the kid should stay home. Mom wants the kid to go. Why? Because the kid always said they want to go. And so what do women do? We sacrifice. But here's the deal. God does not give us life and death in the same assignment. He would never tell us to go rob a bank and feed the homeless. So it's not okay to rob our futures, to rob our retirement, and spend money on things that are feeding our emotional egos. But you've got to understand that. And in order to counter that and to get your wife to submit to a budget, you're going to have to offer her something different that's going to replace the attachment that she has to the things she's already spending money on. You also have to understand that as women, we roll in groups. We've got a group of friends that we go out to eat with. We've got another group of friends that we may play cards with. We've got a group of college friends or church friends. And each of these groups have some money attached to them. You know, when I was getting my money straight, I didn't have any groups and any friends either. I was willing to let go of my friendships. But you know what I was before that? I was honest. I told my friends, I don't have the money. That was difficult for me to admit, because I was always the friend who had the smarts, the great job, and all the cash. So admitting that I didn't have money, it almost felt like I was admitting that the identity that I had spent so much time building up, that it was gone. So if I no longer have money, then who am I? What do I have? These are the kinds of things that you have to think about. And the last thing I'm going to tell you to get your wife to submit to a budget is to be steadfast, be firm, pray. If you have some level of control over the finances, then stick to your budget. Stick to the things that you know you have to spend money on, and simply say no to the other things. And be willing to go through the drama that will ensue. Now, be flexible. Continue to communicate. But identify those dreams, get the education, and then show your wife how you're going to get there. This is the Millionaires Roundtable. I am your host, Lynn Richardson, and we are creating millionaires, one family at a time, one day at a time, $1 at a time, and one dime at a time. Let's see if we have any more callers who are trying to figure out how to get their dimes in order. Let's see here. Yeah, I think we've got some more callers.
Given the current financial environment that the country is currently in, and given that interest rates are currently still very, very low, would you recommend that people continue to save cash, or should they move forward and make real estate investments such as purchasing a first home?
Very good question. And it could be a tricky one. Interest rates are really low. So that says go buy a house. But we're in a state that we don't understand and that we've never been presented with in terms of our economy, job loss, and future job security. The number one rule right now in this situation, and I would say in any situation, is to stack your cash. Minimize your expenses as much as possible. Get rid of the subscriptions that you don't need. Take a look at some of the memberships that you have. Do you need them? Can you share a membership with someone in your family? Do you need it at all? What are some of the extras that you've been spending money on? Minimize those things. If you are having trouble paying a bill because you've been furloughed or laid off your job and you don't know when you're going back, then call your creditors. Ask for an extension of time to pay. And then stack that cash. Do not take that cash and buy furniture and jewelry and do online shopping and all these things. Stack as much cash as you can with a goal of having at least 1 year of living expenses. That's the goal. 1 year. If you make $30,000 a year, try to get to the place where you have $30,000 in the bank. If you make $50,000 a year, get to the place where you've got $50,000. Now, it may take you some time to get there. Once you have 1 year of savings, then you can think about purchasing a home or buying real estate. This is the Millionaires Roundtable. I'm your host, Lynn Richardson. Guess what? We'll be right back.
Meet Lynn Richardson, celebrity financial expert. You might have seen Lynn on The Steve Harvey Show or Good Morning America giving financial advice. For more than 2 decades of having leading roles in the banking and real estate sales industries, Lynn has helped so many clients face their money issues head on and help them achieve their personal, professional, and financial goals.
I spend my life helping people understand this. More money doesn't solve a money problem. If it did, millionaires wouldn't go bankrupt.
Lynn is committed to using her financial expertise to benefit others. Over the last 20 years, she's created a curriculum of books and online classes that can help you at any level. She's helped thousands of clients get out of credit card debt. Lynn has also helped clients create home-based businesses and create multiple streams of income. Creating your financial dreams takes finding your purpose, then the money and the income streams will follow. For more information about Lynn Richardson and the curriculum that she has created, please visit lynnrichardson.com, where financial dreams meet focus to generate wealth. Check out Tax Talk Thursday with Lynn Richardson as she and her special guests give tools and tips to help us better understand the state and federal tax system.
Just give us something that we can use to get those who have never understood the tax system and how it works.
We have 2 tax systems in this country. And when I say that, I always have people say, oh, sure, one for rich and one for poor. That is not true. That's a myth. There's one to make you rich and there's one to take your wealth, basically.
Learn how to get greater tax returns or learn how your business write-offs can lower your taxes.
It's more about how much money you keep than it is about how much money you earn, right?
Yeah.
Would you rather earn $2 million and end up with $1 million, or would you rather earn $1.25 million and keep it all?
We are creating millionaires one family at a time, one day at a time, $1 at a time, and one dime at a time, and that means you.
Tune in to Tax Talk Thursday on lynnrichardson.tv.
Share and subscribe. This is the Millionaires Roundtable. I am your host, Lynn Richardson, and we are creating millionaires one family at a time, one day at a time, $1 at a time, and one dime at a time. And that means you. And if we're going to get $1 million, we have to know what to do with one. So guess what? I'm going to take some more questions from my callers. Let's see who we have out there.
Hello, Dr. Lynn. This is Randy. My question for you is, my emergency funds are getting low. If I have other assets such as 401ks, IRAs, CDs, lines of credit, in what order would you recommend that I access those other assets?
Okay, this one is tricky. So you've got your emergency fund. Congratulations, which means you have worked very hard and you've put money to the side. And then guess what? Life happened. The very first thing I want to say to you is if you experience an interruption in income, do not be afraid. If you're prepared and you have an emergency fund, that's what it's for. Use it. But let me tell you what you must do when you start to use the funds out of your emergency fund. Because here's the deal. If your living expenses are $3,000 a month and you've got $36,000 saved in your emergency fund and you lose a job, your monthly living expenses are no longer $3,000 a month. You must end your relationship with some of those expenses and attempt by all and any means necessary to reduce those expenses. So if I say today, what are my monthly living expenses? I am including some essentials like my mortgage, my light bill, gas bill, telephone bill, cable bill, mobile phone, meals, groceries, gas. I'm including all of these things that are my monthly living expenses. And it comes up to $3,000. But if I lose my job, I'm going to look at those expenses first and figure out what can I eliminate. And that's what you should do. Get your pen, get your paper, look at your spreadsheet. If you've been using the 10-10-30-50 worksheet, or if you've been working with me and I've given you the income and expense spreadsheet, now you need to look at those expenses and figure out what you're going to eliminate. Do not believe that faith is going to lead you to another opportunity. Now, faith without work is dead. You may very well get another opportunity, but it might not come before your emergency fund runs out. So treat your emergency fund like it's the last penny that you have. Don't treat it like, oh, I've got the money and I can spend it. Treat it as if I've got the money there and I'm only going to spend it if I have to. So the very first thing that I encourage, because I see this so many times, I see people losing their jobs, losing their income, and then going through their emergency fund and spending money like they used to spend it when they had the job. No. Once you have eliminated as many expenses as possible and your emergency fund is now being depleted, the next thing that you want to do is take a look at any asset that you have that's not going to cause you a penalty. If you try to take money out of your IRA and you are not yet at the age where you can do so, then you're going to pay a penalty. So you want to avoid that. If you take money out of your 401k, and although you may be able to get a hardship loan, you're losing money because the money is no longer earning interest. You are now taking that money and you are using it to pay your mobile phone and your gas bill and your light bill. And so it's really kind of a waste because you want to try to increase your cash and its ability to continue to produce more cash. So I'd leave the IRA right where it's at. I'd leave the 401k right where it's at. The next thing I'd look at is that CD and or the line of credit. Now, in normal circumstances, I do not advise that you use credit to supplement your expenses, especially in a time of financial crisis. However, if you have access to cash flow that is going to allow you to stay afloat while you go and get another opportunity by any legal, ethical, and moral means necessary, so you can replace the income or replace the dollars that you are taking. So let's say you are short this month and you need $500. Don't take the $500 from your IRA. Don't take the $500 from your 401k. If your CD has not matured, you may not be able to take the money from that either. You might have to take a look at the line of credit. Make sure you can make the monthly payment and then go out and by any means necessary, get a side hustle, babysit, mow somebody's lawn, drive for Uber, Uber Eats, work in a restaurant. Do whatever you have to do to get that cash flow. But you must be very strategic. You must be strategic before you start spending cash because your emergency fund is going away. You want to have a conversation and you want to make the next best move. All right, so let's see if we have any more callers out there. I see that everything is lighting up around here. Let's see who we got.
Hey, Dr. Lynn, this is Craig from Richmond, Virginia.
Hey.
Just got a new job, making a lot more money. I don't know if I can get your help, not making mistakes I've made in the past, making more money, spending more money. Can you give me some tips?
Oh my goodness. Okay, here's the deal, everybody. If you get a raise and raise your expenses, you no longer have a raise. You have more debt, more drama. You know, it's much worse. And everybody says, well, let me find out for myself. Let me tell you something. More money doesn't make you happy. And everybody wants to find out for themselves. The bigger they are, the harder they fall. So if you only have $20,000, then you have $20,000 problems. But if you have $20 million, you don't want $20 million problems. I'm telling you, you don't want it. So the best thing that you can do when you start to make more money is first continue to live at the income level that you previously had. That's number one. Number two, eliminate your debt. Your debt is the middleman between you and your wealth. Why? Because debt is earning the interest that you should be earning. Your money should be making money for you, not your money being paid to the creditor and making money for them. So take the extra income and eliminate your debt. After you eliminate your debt, then you want to decide, is real estate or buying a second home or buying that first home or investing in my business? What's the next big money move for me? But it is not buying a bigger house. It is not buying a better car. It is not buying the next watch or purse or whatever it is. It is not for flexing and flaunting the cash flow so you can look good. Remember this, rich people stay rich because they act poor, and poor people stay poor because they act rich. And poor people stay poor acting rich in front of other poor people, which is really crazy. So if you get more money, if you're making lots more money, spend less money, get more money, and then get your money back. Get a financial education, and then let's develop a plan for what you're going to do next. This is the Millionaires Roundtable. I am your host, Lynn Richardson, and we are creating millionaires, one family at a time, one day at a time, $1 at a time, and one dime at a time. I want you to remember the stair steps to wealth. Remember, you got to spend less money. You have to eliminate that debt. You have to get your money back by starting a home-based business. You want to invest in your retirement plan. You want to protect your estate with proper insurance. You want to own where you live. You want to make sure you are managing your credit properly, and you want to give. If you start to incorporate all of these steps into your lifestyle, you will see financial freedom becoming a reality. I will talk to you next time.
Now stay tuned for a sneak peek of Wealthy Wednesday on LynnRichardson.tv.
People straight on that.
Let me tell you, so for those who don't know the 10, 10, 30, 50, first of all, you can get all the details in my book. Don't forget to subscribe and share, all that stuff. But in Living Check to Monday, I broke it down because I was making $50,000, $60,000, $70,000, $80,000 a month. I was still broke. And so I started actually following the rules, which are the truth. So the first 10% you tithe, the next 10% you save.
Yes.
The 30% is cash in your pocket. Cash for your incidentals, like groceries, gas, hair, nails. If it doesn't fit, get rid of it. And then the remaining 50% stays in your checking account for your bills. If you have more than enough money, that's not a license to go buy a lot of stuff. You want to get rid of your debt. If you don't have enough money, then you have to subtract.
And I was like, oh my God. This makes so much sense.
Yeah.
And I think people can appreciate, especially, I've been with you many times when you've spoken live to, thousands of women. And when they hear that breakdown of 10, 10, 30, 50, and you go into each and why it's important, it feels like they just ready to get loose. It's like, oh my goodness, this is what I've been doing.
People are free. So if you don't put your appointments in your calendar, you'll be one place like, oh, I forgot about that. So we just call it a schedule. We keep it clean. We keep it easy. So I want everybody on this Wealthy Wednesday, Light said it, people hear it and they're like, oh my God, that's freedom. This is a freedom series. This is about you going to the next level. The 10, 10, 30, 50, the first 10% you tithe, the next 10% you save, 30% cash, and it's to help you avoid a spending addiction, which is what you have when you go to the grocery store for toothpaste and you walk out with $179.47 for the stuff you don't need. We're going to talk about that on another Wealthy Wednesday.
Share and subscribe.
Meet Lynn Richardson, author, entertainment executive, TV personality, and celebrity financial coach.
Please say hello to financial expert, my girl, Lynn Richardson. My buddy, finance expert, Lynn Richardson.
Hey, everybody.
Why do you need Lynn's help?
She uses her quick wit and humorous presentation style to help others face their issues and achieve their personal and professional goals, as well as spiritual harmony.
So I tell our sisters, you go to a rack, $500 purse. Self, do you usually have $500? $20 purse. Self, that's usually how much you got. That's the purse that you get off the rollback rack.
In this current economic crisis due to COVID-19, Sean Diddy Combs invited Lynn Richardson to contribute to his new website, OurFairShare.com, in which Lynn explains the Paycheck Protection Plan that assists small businesses in gaining access to U.S. government funds. Over the last 20 years, Lynn used her financial expertise to create a curriculum of books and online classes to help clients achieve financial freedom. Lynn teaches clients how to get out of credit card debt, shows them how to start a home-based business, and to create multiple streams of income. Lynn Richardson is a celebrity financial coach and founder of the 700 Credit Club. Lynn wants to talk to you about one of the biggest issues that can separate you from your financial freedom, and that's your credit score. Lynn overcame 2 bankruptcies and foreclosure, but with this plan, her score is now over 700, and she's inviting you to join the 700 Credit Club today. Here you'll learn to build your credit and have the financial freedom you dreamed of. For more information about the 700 Credit Club, please visit lynnrichardson.com.
Hi, I'm Lynn Richardson, and I'm excited about teaching you how to build multiple streams of income. But more importantly, I'm excited about teaching you why. I'm a financial expert, but I think there are some things you need to know about me that you'll never read in a newspaper or magazine or see anywhere. I was born and raised in Chicago. As a matter of fact, my grandmother, who passed away almost at the age of 98, she was 75 years old, cleaning homes for wealthy people, putting me through college. I grew up in the projects. I knew we weren't rich, but I didn't feel poor. When I needed money for something, I'd say, Grandma, I need money for a field trip. She'd tell me to go look in the room, on top of the shelf, inside the box, inside my pocketbook, inside the zipper, wrapped up in a piece of paper towel. It's $20. She'd hide the money like 20,000 times. So when I went off to college, I didn't know a lot about money. What I knew is I needed access to it. So I made the mistake that many people make. I went into a room, multiple credit card distributors were there. I didn't get one credit card. I decided to get one of each. Oh boy, that didn't go over well for me. When the creditor started calling and saying, Lynn, can you borrow the money? I said, can I borrow it from you? I had all kind of funny answers, but when I got out into the real world, it wasn't funny anymore. My credit was jacked up. My first furniture came from Rent-A-Center. And I knew right then and there that I was entering the world with a bad relationship with money. Fast forward a few years later, I'm married, 3 children. My career is excellent. I'm making money, but guess what? I was living a lie. I was living check to Monday. You see, check to check is a blessing. That means you get paid by Friday and by the next payday you're broke. But check to Monday is a whole different game. You get paid on Friday, you kick it on the weekend, you pay on your past due bills, and by Monday you're broke. And I was living that lifestyle making $20, $30, $50, $60, $80,000 a month. Not a year, a month. So I learned this. More money doesn't solve a money problem. If it did, millionaires wouldn't go bankrupt. If more money could solve a money problem, you'd never have a bankrupt millionaire. You'd never have a bankrupt billionaire. So what do you have to do to build wealth? You have to spend less money. We're going to talk about that.